we
thumbs
go.
up, see ya, hear ya, etc. Orlando, Florida. I mean, hey, you were in Jersey. You were synonymous with a lot of different places. Is Orlando the home for the rest of your life?
As uh, as far as I know,
I just
never know what the Lord would have me to do. But yes, this is the home base.
I figured I'd ask, when you have a sandwich named after you for Wawa, it must have been hard to leave Voorhees, Jersey. What's the Wawa of Florida? Is there such a thing?
No, there is nothing like Wawa in Florida. I think the closest I guess would be racetrack, but that's more in like Carolina. So I don't know if there's nothing really in Florida like Wawa, but Wawa. Since there's some Wawas in Florida now, so
There you go. But
yeah.
we were not connected to talk by Wawa. We were connected to talk by Nirvana Water Sciences. How did you get involved in the Nirvana fold?
Well, well, that came from my relationship with guy I've been working with for forever, Mark Helligman, and his company. I've been working with him since my rookie year, and so he always is looking for those things that easily connect with who I am, right? And so one of the things that I've been blessed to do over my life is take care of this vessel is what I call it. So
Hmm.
my body, and seeing the things that Nirvana was doing and the science behind it that
Hmm.
can help a lot of facets of someone who tries to stay active, which I do.
Hmm.
It fit, like it really fit to who I am and what I'm doing as far as again how I treat my body.
Right. 16 seasons in the NFL. You might be the only non-punter I'm aware of that made it over 15. So now you're a successful entrepreneur. Did you know early into your career that that was the plan to find success in business outside of football?
No, not necessarily. I knew that there was going to be something that I would do after football. I did not necessarily have a plan of this is what I'm going to do after football. Um, but one of the things that I knew I wanted to do was to help people,
Hmm.
and it just so happens that that has become the thing that I've been doing in retirement is helping people, like a mindset life coach. So that way of doing things to bless people has been the thing that has allowed me to continue to give of the talents and the gifts that I have, just like I did on the football field. Now it's from a different place.
Right. You have a reputation for being a mentor to a lot of past and present players, keeping them on the right path, telling coaches, that guy should be playing more, etc. Don't give up. Were you that positive at the beginning of your career, or is that a thing that came with experience?
So in order for me to have the success that I had, I have to have had a sense of positivity about myself, of what I thought I could do. But I
Mhm.
will tell you, some of the times I had to believe in somebody else's vision of me because I couldn't see what they saw. So that's like a coach, sometimes down the road, and I say this in my talks now that sometimes you have to believe in somebody else's vision of you until you can come up with a vision for your own. And that's what I did. I believed in somebody else's vision of what I could do, what they saw me that I could not quite see yet,
Mhm.
and I chased that and I went after that. But there's other principles that were placed in me from a young age by my parents, and by some of the things that I experienced from a conditioning standpoint in high school that kind of formulated a mindset of how I was going to attack whatever you sent my way.
Hmm.
So again, I'm going to attack it. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to stay coachable. These are some of the things that I learned from these different sources. And so I applied that to the NFL. Didn't know if I can make it, but I knew that if I kept my head down, if I grind, if I outworked everybody around me, if I stayed coachable to those people that were talking and speaking into me, then I had a chance. Didn't know how it would become what it became, but I knew I had a chance.
Those talks that you mentioned, people will hire you to do keynotes. People want to hear you speak in general. Also, success as an analyst that can talk about the game. Did you have that gift of gab at the beginning? And the reason I ask that is because a lot of athletes that I speak to that make the transition from star athlete to speaker, they had to undergo media training. They didn't realize that they and ahhed and all that. I don't get that out of you when I hear you speak.
Correct. And so that's one of the things that I began to work through because I wanted to be able to communicate my thoughts and my ideas a lot
Yeah.
crisper, right? And so absolutely began to go down that path of letting people help me articulate myself better. And one of those times was when I went to ESPN. That was that little short, brief 3 years that I was with ESPN. They I was blessed to talk to someone there. This is in my book, Blessed by the Best. Before he passed, the late great, John Saunders, and he began to speak. He brought me into his office and began to really talk about some of the things that he thought that I had that I couldn't see. Once again, I couldn't see it. But he began to talk about some of the presence and some of the things that I have that is not natural, it's not normal. Not everybody has that. And so I really began to go down that path of really how can I articulate myself better? How can I slow down, first of all, because I'm a speed talker when I get excited. How can I
Well,
slow
you're
down?
speedy on the field too.
Yes. So how can I articulate myself to get my ideas and my thoughts without losing the feeling and the passion that I have about the subject matter that I'm talking about, right? So that was the beginning of it. And I believe that time at ESPN with him and a couple of other individuals, Jerry Madeline as well. So a couple of people in ESPN that really helped me to find my voice. I'll say it like that. To really find my voice, I can talk to my teammates because that's a different sphere. That's a different in the locker room. I can talk from a different place, right? Public is a little bit different. I have to be. I can't be quite as energetic as I was when I talked to my teammates, right?
Yeah.
But again, that process began then, and I understood that I needed to be better at that at the next phase if I'm going to be speaking in front of corporations, churches, and in front of different people, being able to again shine light on some of the things that they can't see in themselves yet.
Hmm. Well, something you mentioned earlier is your purpose, and what really drives you is helping other people. And looking at you from an outsider's perspective, because I'm not you and I don't have your calendar, it's a very diversified portfolio that you have in terms of the work you do, the titles you have, the projects that you've got going on. What you're doing now, is that the product of making to-do lists and checklists and working at it, or is this just everything coming into place and being on brand for you?
Well, it's coming from a place of a place of prayer. I'll say that. All right. So it's a place
Mhm.
of prayer of what I'm supposed to do going forward. And so from that, I grabbed a vision. I have a vision on what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. It's a very big, huge, tremendous vision. And
Mhm.
so now I'm in the process of basically taking step by step process to gradually get to that vision, that huge vision that I've been blessed to write down. That's the other thing, understanding the different avenues. Some of the things that I did as a player that I didn't necessarily know that I was doing to prime me to go after specific things, to reprogram my brain to go after things a different way. I understand these things now. So that's where this is coming from. This is a mission. This is what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing for the for not just for, and it's not just for me.
Mhm.
Like it's literally to bless as many people as possible with the hope, with some of the things that they may feel that they're stuck. They maybe feel like they are the mistakes that they've made in their past, right? To help people like that, passionate overcomers is what I call it, to really get out of that, how to get out of that, and then how to stay out of it.
Hmm. Well, down to the last three questions here before I let you go. Plugging Nirvana again. Uh, when did you first get on board with it? That part I wasn't sure, because when you search around for Nirvana, you see the great names that are involved with it, but not necessarily when they came on board. So when was your entry point to it?
It's probably about a year and a half ago.
Oh, so Patrick Willis followed you.
Yes, yes,
There you go. You're
yes.
still
Right around the same time. It was right around the same time.
there. You go.
But again, when I recognized and I looked at what it is they were doing, and for anything that I do, you don't know me, so you wouldn't know this about me. I don't just back stuff to back stuff. I have to try it.
Hmm.
and it has to work for me. If it doesn't work for me, thank you very much. I thank you for the opportunity, but I can't talk about something that does not affect me, has not blessed me, has not helped me. But when I begin to take this, literally, when I begin to take this, especially the blue, the HMB, the recovery factor of that was unbelievable. My soreness was not as daunting as it usually is. Matter of fact, I took about a month and really pushed myself in
Hmm.
workouts. I really pushed myself because I wanted to test it out. I really wanted to test it out after me, doing some of the things that I used to do. So I started doing some of those things again, some more high intensity stuff that I was doing, and it really helped me recover, helped my body recover, helped me sleep better. So all of those things. So I was like, yes, this is something that I can back. So again, I got on board with them over a year and a half ago, but I had been doing some things a couple of months prior to me saying yes, I'll come on board.
Got it. Next question for you. Your last name, Dawkins. I'm a big sports fan, Northeastern US. Did you know Darryl Dawkins?
I did know him. I got a chance to meet Chocolate Thunder back in the day. Hilarious dude, by the way. Have he's passed obviously now, but
Yes.
got a chance to hang around with him a little bit, talk to him a couple of times. Matter of fact, his brother used to come around to the stadium to the vet a whole lot. So I got a chance to meet him first, he being his brother, and then got a chance to meet Darryl. But like I said, funny, like a hilarious dude, and a good person as well. Was a good person, excuse me, as well.
Good to hear that. And the last question I got for you. Every time my wife and I start a TV show, we watch it in 3, 4 days and we go, what's next? Do you have a recommendation or two for a show that we should be watching?
Wow. See, I'm a huge cartoon fan. Like so that's
Okay.
so that's yeah. I'm always looking for the next cartoon to be watching. Haven't found one that I would necessarily suggest other than a old favorite, and that's as soon as I was about to say it with Yang and the Last Airbender. So
Oh, yeah.
if you're looking to if you haven't watched the series yet, have you checked it out? Last Airbender.
Okay. Haven't seen it, but they sent me some ramen bowls to write about from Avatar The Last Ember. So I know from the food way, but it sounds like we should be watching it.
So if you want to just get away, escape a little bit, and just enjoy some cartoons like that series, I absolutely loved that series. Loved
Cool.
it, loved it.
We'll have to check that out. Well, Brian, thank you for your time. Continued success, and looking forward to, I don't know, the next book, the next venture, whatever it is. Keep up all the greatness out there.
Thank you. Have a blessed one.